So here we are at St Peter's Church, the start of the Oundle Pilgrimage Walk 2015. I've actually just got a stamp here, look, if you can see St Peter's Church. I'm heading off to the farmer's market now to meet some other walkers, and then we're going to set off for Ashton. So there we have the busy farmer's market in Oundle. All I have to do now is locate the Sue Rider fundraisers, because today we're raising money for Sue Rider Thorpe Hall. And there we have the Sue Rider representatives supporting Thorpe Hall, Peterborough. This lovely riverside trail forms the first part of the Oundle Pilgrimage Walk. We've arrived at the Elmington Ranges, which were used by Oundle School since the First World War. This is actually a byway through Ashton Estate, and Robbie and I are going to walk through the estate as far as Hemmington. So here we have the memorial at Polbrook Aerodrome, where two great nations, Britain and America, forged an alliance against Hitler during the Second World War. It has since closed after the war, in the late 40s, but this memorial signifies the bravery of those that fought in that campaign. We've arrived at Hemmington. We're going to walk through the village now and look for the footpath to Polbrook. We're just heading along the cut now between Hemmington and Polbrook. You just see the barn there in the distance, and just beyond is Polbrook and the St Peter's Church. Just arriving into Polbrook. And as we arrive at Armston Estate, there's an old friend. And it's through the Kissing Gate and off to Barmel Manor. Alright, Dobbin. We're now on the approach to Barmel. You've got St Andrew's Church there in the distance, and the old residence of the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester. Away to the right there, Barmel Manor. I guess we're about 10 minutes now from the Montague Arms, and then we'll be stopping there for a 10-minute break. We are now approaching the tranquil village of Thurning. And there we have St James's Church. Behold the Camino shell and the Camino de Santiago stamp. Leaving St James's, we're now heading on to Clopton. Right, we've walked through Clopton village, and there ahead you see the pilgrimage trail to Titchmarsh, and there's Titchmarsh Church there in the distance. Today we're actually going to walk the Thorpe route, so we're going to head up this way towards Thorpe Waterville and take the cycle route into Waddenhoe. Here we've just passed through Thorpe Waterville and we're heading into Oldwinkle, and that's quite encouraging because it means we're about a mile away from our next pub, and believe me, we're thirsty. We're about to enter an escarpment on our course to Waddenhoe. And there we have the church at Waddenhoe. And just below the village itself. The Oundle Pilgrimage Trail cross sections the Lyveden Way and the Neame Way. And below me in the distance there's the King's Head, an excellent place to quench thirst. Just capturing a glimpse there of A Church as we finish the last remnants of today's pilgrimage, which will conclude along the byway to Pilton, and then there's 3 fields to Stokedale, and we'll conclude the day I think at Stokedale Road Cemetery near Oundle. Good visual there on Pilton Church. Just descending by Southwick Woods on the second part of the pilgrimage. Very nice day again. Barely a quarter of a mile from Southwick now, so I'll be calling in at the Shopper Arms there. This section is the Oundle pilgrimage cycle route, and there's quite a few cyclists about today, so I've got to be a little bit careful. There we leave behind the Shopper Arms. Here we have the byway to Woodnewton, and there's a lovely village church, and ahead the cycle route. Inspiring scenery awaits as we make our way towards Fotheringhay village. Arriving at the iconic village of Fotheringhay. So there we are, the most photographed church in the country, the All Saints Mary Church. Definitely the village is better associated with the execution of Mary Queen of Scots. Most of its fame is owed to that, although the castle has been demolished years ago by King James. The mound is actually still there, but this to me is one of the highlights of the village. Leaving here now, I'm going to make my way across the fields to Elton. Just crossing the agriculture out towards the Neem Valley Railway, or what remains of it at least. Pausing briefly, we can have a quick glimpse now of the old Neem Valley Railway, which used to run from Peterborough to Northampton until Dr. Beeching got his hands on it. He certainly made a good job of decimating it, although the pleasantries of the countryside still remain here, as you can see. Very idyllic countryside, and in the distance there you probably can't see Elton Mill, but there's the village ahead and another prominent church there in the distance. So I'm going to make my way across the fields and the Neem Bridge and go and have a look at Elton Green. Yeah, just coming out of the escarpment across the Elton estate. I'm going to start heading towards Eaglesthorpe and Warmington in a minute. Just walking onto the byway now, which is adjacent to the A605, which I'm sure you can hear there in the background. This little walkway goes down to the idyllic Warmington Mill. Well, as the path reaches Eaglesthorpe, we have a glimpse of Warmington Mill, which is, I can tell you now, a picture of serenity. Absolutely lovely on a day like this. Eaglesthorpe can be reached underneath the A605, and at the village there's a pub called the Red Lion, so I'm going to call in there in a minute. Well, we've got the last stamp on the pilgrim passport, and I'm setting off now for the last few miles back to Oundle. Probably going to have a look at Tanser, as a nice bit of the cycle route runs through there, but we're no more than 2.5 miles now from Oundle. Ah well, it's time to take a rural excursion through Tanser, away from the busy A605. This actually forms part of our little family walking guide that we do alongside the pilgrimage. It's also part of the pilgrimage cycle route as well. Here's the old Neem Valley Railway Bridge. It's little more than an old derelict site now, all overgrown, look. The pilgrimage cycle route heads off right towards Cotterstock, which is only a quarter of a mile away, and the family pilgrimage route also follows a course across the meadows along the riverbank there to Oundle. Comes out at Oundle Boathouse. But I'm just going to take the byway now, as I'm literally just a mile or so from Station Road Bridge, and take the journey along the thoroughfare back into Market Square. And as it began, so it ends. Back to where we started. This concludes the 2015 Oundle pilgrimage, which just leads me to say, please support Sue Ryder Thorpe Hall by making a donation to the tins we have in all our pubs and churches. All donations will be gratefully received. Thank you so much for your support.